Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavtu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Namaste and a very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Singapore Festival of Hinduism 2020, the first of its kind that is being held from 20th to 29th November, with a total of 23 talks and events planned over a 10-day period. I'm Santa and will be the moderator for this afternoon's talk. The theme of this inaugural festival is Living the Hindu Life, where we have been sharing on various areas such as understanding key Hindu concepts, prayers, yoga, astrology, virtual tours of holy sites, and many others with the objective of providing a platform to inform, educate, and generate a deeper understanding of Hinduism. It is organized by the Hindu Center in partnership with several other Hindu organizations in Singapore. Today, it is our 9th day of the festival, the second last day, and I hope most of you have managed to catch the other talks. If not, you can view them at the Hindu Center's YouTube channel. Today, I would like to welcome Dr. Shailendra Bajpai, who will be presenting this afternoon's talk on meditation and mindfulness, a sacred path to self-awareness. About Dr. Bajpai ji. Professionally, Dr. Bajpai ji is a physician, internist, and diabetes expert. Currently, the global head of disease management for Sanofi Emerging Markets, Diabetes and CV Singapore. His passion includes education and awareness on health and wellness for physicians and communities. He is also a mindfulness coach and regularly conducts workshops, seminars on mindful living with diabetes, patient centricity, 360-degree leadership, and is currently conducting customized workshops for a diverse audience, including professionals on the topic, The New Normal, Managing Uncertainty Mindfully, to help them embrace the uncertainty by changing perspectives and ease their transition in today's circumstances, both at personal and professional levels. Following his talk, Dr. Bajpai ji will take questions during the Q&A segment. Do key in your questions on YouTube or Facebook page for this event. Without any further delay, let me invite Dr. Bajpai ji. Dr. Bajpai ji, please.
Thank you very much, Santaji, for the very kind introduction. I'm very honored, privileged, and humbled to be here in this forum with all of us together trying to reflect upon, learn from each other about some of our age-old practices of mindfulness, meditation. How is it inculcated or incorporated in our way of living, in our dharma, what we call as. I also want to use the opportunity to say a big thank to Dr. Prasad and everyone at the Hindu Center and all the organizations who have been instrumental in setting up this program for the larger cause. So I really appreciate. So as Santaji has kindly mentioned, my plan would be to use next 40 to 45 minutes for us to reflect upon some of my thoughts. And I'd also use this opportunity to thank everyone in this room, all my teachers, mentors, parents, my family, and everyone else who has been helpful in getting me on this path, on this journey. And one of the first sutra I want to share with all of you in this title slide is related to relationships. We should start with remembering that relationships in our life, near and distant, all of them are here to make us aware, to awaken us, to make us conscious, and not to make us happy. That's an illusion. So with this sutra, please allow me to share more with you. Thanks again. What I'm going to do in the next 2 minutes is for all of us to just come together, reflect on some questions which I'm going to ask, and please put in your answers in the chat box. The first thing which comes to your mind, you can use one word, a few words, or whatever comes to your mind at the instant moment. Tell me, how are you feeling now? Express in one or few words. This is connecting with ourselves, expressing our feeling, emotions, and every answer is right. It's just about how we are feeling at the moment, in the present moment. Okay. So did we reflect upon how are we feeling now? With that, let me now take you to the next question. Can you please help me understand how many of us have heard about or know about meditation and mindfulness, and how many of us are actually practicing it on a regular basis? And regular could be just anything. If you do it few times a week, that's perfectly okay. That's regular for you, and which is perfectly okay as well. Can you please put it on your chat, please? And with this, I go to my last question. What would be the one thing you would like to learn today about the meditation, mindfulness, or our practice, what we are trying to achieve today in this beautiful time, in this immense and infinite time we have us with each other today? All right. So while I would be looking at the chat questions in a while, I would now try to start with our discussions for the day. As we all know, the ancient wisdom in Hindu scriptures, what we call as Hindu scriptures, and we used to call as Sanatan Dharma or the eternal Dharma, the way of life, they have been around for thousands of years. And why we call it wisdom? Because this is not information, this is knowledge and wisdom, which is also based on experiential learning. This used to be communicated, as we know, both by Sruti and Shmriti, and there are, I would say, variety of literature which has been passed across the ages, in generations, over thousands of years. And today, what we will try to do is try to see a quick reflection on what is in for us in the form of meditation and mindfulness, and how it can help us to live the way of Dharma, the way of life. We also talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Some of the practices will touch upon it in the Sanatan Hindu way of life, and how is it relevant in today's world. And of course, we will deep dive a bit into what is meditation, mindfulness, how to attain awareness through these practices, and of course, achieve emancipation, or the ultimate goal of our being here. Why are we here? Through some practices, and I will also give you some tips and tools to do that. So when we talk about our dharma, please remember that as the ancient wisdom, what we label as dharma is a way of life. Dharma here does not exactly relate to religion. In fact, there is no English equivalent of dharma. The religion relates more to certain beliefs, rituals, and practices being followed by a community or sect, and which might be transferred from generation to generations or adopted later in their life with a set code of conduct. Whereas the dharma, what we are talking about, is more transversal. It's for the humanity, it's for everyone, it's for the being here. So the Sanatan Dharma, as we call, or the eternal religion, is the humanistic way to live a fulfilling life, being fully aware of the fact that we are spiritual being in a human form, and there is only one consciousness. We are all one. We are one. There is no other in any life form. Eko aham dvitiyo nasti. The simple way to relate is to see everyone as oneself, being non-judgmental, providing unconditional love as we would like for ourselves. That is the essence of dharma. And as I briefly mentioned, this is based on a lot of experiential learning through practices, and meditation is the core of our living. It is the essence of our living. So how do we practice dharma? It's all about the conduct in our thoughts, words, and actions. Mansa, vacha, karmana. How do we live in a very congruent manner, in an authentic manner, to realize the purpose and the meaning of being here in this world? To make a difference. I would stop at to make a difference. I wouldn't say make a difference to the world or to ourselves. Why? Because we are all one. Anything we do for ourselves changes the world. How do you change the world? As many of the modern time saints and sages they say, how do you change the world? You change the world by changing yourself. And this is what it means. So what you do actually changes the world. Every single step, every single moment of meditation and mindfulness, you are changing the world. So with this meditative practices, by following this dharma, being congruent in our thoughts, words, and action, we lose our identity of self and we open a vast expanse of oneness. And when we achieve it, that is the ultimate enlightenment. And this is timeless. Why it is timeless? Because it relieves us of the cycle of life, of birth and death. It's attainment of moksha. Because our books of accounts is a clean slate, we are having a samyak or equanimity. We are having a bhava of equanimity. There is no heaven, no hell. No misery, no grief, no happiness. It's only eternal joy. It leads us to the realization of illusion of reality. The Maya, as we say, and the world around us is the illusion. So what is this reality? What we perceive as reality is an illusion. Identity, our self or our self of identity. For a moment, think what you are if we give away our name. If you give away your name, your title, your degrees, and everything around you, a job, family, everything, just lose it. Who are we then? That is the reality. The illusion of duality leads to all the conflicts and a lot of problems. Eko aham dvitiyo nasti. Moving into this sense of consciousness, being aware, gets us away from this judgmental fashion, and we become integrated into the one consciousness. It's a state of being aware of who we are and who we are not, becoming conscious and enlightened. We'll see about it. And this takes me to a very interesting thing, and I would like to share my example experience when I was going to US. In one of my meetings, I was traveling to US, and at the border check and the control, I was amused. Normally the question by the officer over there is, why are you here? So today I also invite you to think about, why are you here? Not in this session. I'm talking of, let's think about why are we here in this life, for our meaning and purpose. Very amused, but of course I couldn't have answered him in this way. He would have given me the first flight back to Singapore. All right, so from the Ved, from the Purans, Upanishads, other sutras, history, and everything else, one of the scriptures by the ancient sage Maharishi Patanjali stands out. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra describes about yoga, or what we now call as yoga, which is okay as well if we are using in different languages. It has been mentioned, as I said, in different scriptures over ages and times, including in Mahabharata, in Gita, and other places. But the Patanjali Yoga Sutra gives a very nice experiential and activity-based description. So Maharishi Patanjali, who was a master navigator of consciousness, has integrated a set of aphorisms and describes in great details the structure and dynamics of consciousness in human being. So today we are talking of consciousness, of being aware, how it relates back to the way of life, and what is the way forward. So I invite you to join me into understanding a bit about the way of life, dharma way. Simply putting it, it's the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which we know as Ashtanga Yoga. It has 8 elements. And yoga, remember, yoga or yoga in all our scriptures, in our way of life, in our dharma and Hindu dharma, yoga actually stands for awareness, consciousness through meditation. So meditation is the core of all our practices. Let's keep that in mind as we go along together. Meditation is the core of all our practices to live a fulfilling life of oneness in this universe. So what are these 8 elements? These are yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. What it relates to? Yam relates to abstentions and moral restraint, as simple as some pragmatic and practical things which we are easy to understand and relate to. Principle of non-violence, being truthful, celibacy in the right context, refraining from stealing, and the virtues, similar virtues. Niyam, ethical observance, cleanliness, contentment, austerity, study or swadhyaya, devotion or bhakti. Asana or asan, postures and stretches. Remember, the types of yoga what we see across the globe nowadays, I wouldn't like to judge and comment on them, but the asana we are referring to relates to conscious movements, postures and stretches to help build up the path of awareness. It's not about the hot yoga and the cold yoga. And I wouldn't name that some of those, pardon my using the word, some funny names what we see. So let's be very aware what yoga and asana means here. But here, the asana stream or the asana element has been practiced widely across the globe, which is a very good thing. It is not a bad thing at all. At least we are starting and doing something. It has been picked by different cultures and different uh, people across the globe, different geographies, and also in several religions. Coming to pranayama. Pranayama is breath control. And in pranayama, what do we do in pranayama? It's basically the breath control. These are the patterns by fixing the mind. These are different types of pranayama, as we all know, but generically speaking, if I have to tell you, this is about fixing the mind to breath control, for the mind to become quiescent, calm and still, and lead us into the state of meditation, state of deep meditation, and eventually becoming one with the higher consciousness that is Almighty. What is pratyahara? Next element. Pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses, so we go inside. As we sometimes say, as you might have heard, the only way out is the way in. So this is a sum total of everything. So in pratyahara, what we do is that it deepens the process by removing consciousness by all engagements. So this is the external sensory consciousness we are talking about, with the sense objects like sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. And therefore, having been aloof, finding a secluded place is also used in meditative practices. Next element as we go along this journey is dharana. Dharana is about concentration. This is a type of meditative practice which is about focused attention, where we can have an object. It could be our breath, it could be candlelight, a music, something else. Sometimes we focus between our eyebrows or a dot in the wall, or some deity. Everything is good. So this is about concentrating and then cultivating this dharana. Next level is the dhyana or the meditation. This is what we want to achieve. There are various meditative practices, and someone was listing them, and we have more than 100 meditative patterns and practices, and all of them are equally good. So it is again about what suits you the best. It could be stillness, it could be movement, it could be slow movement, it could be dance, it could be some art form. There are different ways of achieving this dhyana. If you remember, one of the movement practices of dhyana of the dervish from the Sufi sect, they used to do some chakra meditation, as we say, and get awaken the kundalini, was to continuously dance in a specific fashion. That is also dhyan. So the point I want to make here is that meditation is about being with the self. There are different ways and the means to achieve it. And we can learn by trial and practice what suits us the best. After dhyana is the state of samadhi, which is the state of unification of yoga. Yoga stands for union of mind, body, and soul, and with the Almighty. So samadhi is the state of full meditative absorption. Just say that while we reach this state, we become so powerful, and sometimes we say that these are mystic things which come to us, that we can do telepathy, we can transmit, we can disappear, we can levitate, we can reach anywhere, because we lose the dimension of time and space in this state, becoming one with the higher consciousness, with the Almighty, state of enlightenment. So don't be bogged down too much about the terms. Remember the elements, remember the process, trust the process. It's all commonsensical, it's all human. Isn't it? This is how we are supposed to live our life with. We just have to be conscious of what we are doing. So what is meditation? Focusing on meditation, it's both an experience and a practice. It's an experience of oneness, of being who we really are, as well as the practice that enables us to be in this state. So it's about getting into this and staying there, getting there through practices, to the right practice, and staying there. So there can be active practices, as I said, and passive practices of meditation. Sometimes we do a focused attention, sometimes we do an open monitoring. So we connect with everything around us dispassionately, with a sense of Sakshi bhav, sense of observance, non-judgemental, looking at the way they are, not getting into a thought process. Remember, we are bestowed with a beautiful mind, which can make or break us. We live our life not in our home, not with our family. We live our life with our mind, isn't it? We always live our life with our mind. Give it a thought. And therefore, it's very, very important to be in harmony with our mind. And how do we get into the harmony with our mind? Through meditation, through focused attention and open monitoring practices. And we will do some practice as well today. So the meditation covers a vast terrain of experiences and activities, which includes opening our heart to all beings, realizing the truth, and becoming free. It's about being free. Life is about being free, achieving freedom. Counting our breaths. When I say counting, is basically focusing on the breath, gazing at the flame of a candle, or the deity, or a dot, intoning different sound, or moving rhythmically, as we briefly discussed. So it could be just anything. The intention is to get inside yourself in fully conscious, being fully conscious and being fully aware. And what does meditation do? The meditation helps us when we go in ourself inside and lose the sense of self, and get away from the reality, observing that there is only one Brahman, aham bramhasmi. There is only one consciousness. We become one with everyone. We become one with everything. We become one with the God, after getting rid of all the delusions, confusion, and unrealistic view of the reality. So when we get freedom, when we get free of these forces of habit and our habitual addictions of getting pulled, getting judgmental, looking the world as differently, prioritizing the life in a very different way, or taking life too seriously, as I sometimes say. This practice also allows us to abide in harmony and congruence, being authentic with a sense of reverence for the mystery and majesty of the world in which we live. Isn't it? Seven wonders of the world: to see, to smell, to talk, to listen, to laugh, to smile. These are the wonders of the world. So we do this with an attitude of being grateful for the grace of the Almighty, being one with them. Remember, it takes practice and perseverance. You give yourself the permission to practice meditation, and it requires perseverance, which simply means that you really have to be mindful and do it. It is not regimented. It's not like military thing. You don't really have to do it in a way like, okay, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, take a cold shower, sit there with a candle and a temperature of 24 degrees. No, it's not about that. It's about giving yourself the freedom to understand and experience and practice, and every single moment counts. They all add up. It's like your books of accounts. Every single moment of mindfulness and meditative practices adds up to the books of awareness and consciousness. And as I recently started saying that, what is the way to get everything by doing nothing? Meditation is the way to do nothing and still get everything. So this is the only way to get everything by doing nothing, because once you achieve that state, you don't need anything else. You just get rid of all the false notion, delusions, perceptions of reality. So what is the mantra? What is the key? Patience and practice, practice and practice, as I said. In meditation, we don't do it. We just do it to do it, just for doing it. It's about doing nothing, as I said. There is no ulterior purpose to achieve somewhere, to go there. So practicing meditation, there is no other goal other than just to be here in the present moment, in the now, without a goal of succeeding, without judging anything, anyone, including ourselves. It's about not trying to get anywhere or achieve anything. I repeat it. It's just about being there in here and now. So the joy of being in this quiet space becomes addictive. You're just there, observing with a Sakshi bhav about everything. The Brahman in you, the Brahman outside, the Brahm outside, and the Brahm everywhere, becoming one with the one consciousness. It transforms itself into so much more, into deeper love for other human beings. You stop judging. You see that everyone around you is you. So when we say namaste, what does it mean? Namaskaram. It only means that the divine in me is honoring the divine in you, which is one. So we always reinforce this to our own self. You develop a deeper respect for life, a deeper compassion, and deeper humility, and the world changes. I found this nice cartoon, courtesy the Buddha Doodles, due regards. Uh, Two monks talking to each other. One of them is asking the other one, "Why are you so happy?" And he says, "I have no idea." Take it literally or take it whichever way. This tells it all. Because he's free, liberated. What is mindfulness? So mindfulness is actually a meditative practice. Of late, we have been listening a lot about mindfulness, what it means, a lot of coaching classes and everything else. This is a fantastic way, a fantastic meditative practice and approach. It's about being in the being, just being present, being in the present moment, state of being aware. As I said, it's about being in the now and here. And you really don't have to park specific calendar time. If you do that, very good. If you don't do that, not bad. Don't be harsh to yourself. Every single moment you become mindful and aware of your breath, of your surrounding. You are in state of mindfulness. And then I'm also a big fan of what some people call as mindfulness on the go. It simply means that you really don't need any tips and the tools and the tricks and places and ambience atmosphere to practice mindfulness. You just need to be yourself. All you need is your own self, to be with yourself, to be congruent with yourself. Okay, so that is what mindfulness is. It's also about being before doing. Remember, we all got tasked into so many of obligations, responsibilities, KPIs, objectives, metrics. We are never in the present moment. We misunderstood what is multitasking. You can never multitask. The best way to multitask is to do one thing at a time. So it's about unifying the mind, body, and the soul, and therefore thoughts, words, and action being authentic and not at war with self. All the time, remind yourself, come back to self, come back to self, being aware, being conscious. When you get lost, when your mind carries you away, remember, journey is the destination. A human mind normally gets around 70,000 thoughts at the least every day. It's a monkey. Look at the blessing. We have so many terabytes of memory, as they say, and the RAM and everything else. How do we use it? It drives us crazy, isn't it? It causes insomnia. It takes us to different dimensions. How can we turn it inside? How can we master the mind? We can master the mind by letting it not play with us, by befriending it, not conflicting with it. When the thoughts come in, let them come and go. Find an anchor, and breath is a universal miracle. No breath, no life. We live our life breath by breath. So, whenever mind wanders, we want to go back to mindful meditative state, go back to your breath, and we will do some of those practices. We know that meditation, mindfulness in the last 100 years, there have been a lot of work on this. And as a scientist, I can also tell you, when I try to look into spirituality, philosophy, some mysticism, history, mythology, and science, you can actually document everything. It's scientifically proven. It improves a lot of things in our body. It actually changes the structure and function of the brain, what we call as neuroplasticity. It improves mood, cognition, learning, memory, sleep, our logic, decision making, relationships, conversation, cultivates compassion, empathy, improves emotional intelligence, makes us resilient, and improves creativity and focus, and we become more productive in our lives, at work and everywhere. So it is not counterintuitive to the office work. It also changes the gene expression. We have been hearing in the science that you cannot choose your parents. I say that all the time, but how beautiful. Today the science had still not advanced to that level, but here we can actually change our gene expression, basically turn down the bad genes and open up the good genes. It's like the nice good softwares which are opening up to protect us from various disorders, and turning down the bad softwares which can give rise to different diseases. So it decreases heart disease, stroke, other chronic diseases. It improves immunity. It helps in rheumatoid arthritis and of course osteoarthritis, dementia, Alzheimer's, and of course inflammatory bowel disorders. A lot of the problems of the gut, abdomen, where sometimes people have to take injections every day. This is for all ages. There are different practices, and it can be inculcated into daily rituals. For ADHD, like the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, mostly in children, but also seen in adults, it can be improved. There is loads of data on that, and this can be seen by imaging, by the functional MRI, PET scans, and different modalities, also by blood test and several other parameters where we can actually demonstrate how this helps. So it's a way of life. It's a simple practice. We can transform every day, every activity into this. So let's now try to get some meditation. All right. Are you with me? Okay. So what we do now is just to feel ourselves where we are. If you're sitting on the chair, on the sofa, on the cushion, on the bed, on the floor, wherever you are, adjust yourself. Just feel yourself sitting and your weight on the chair. And if you have armrest, your arms on the side of the chair and your feet on the ground. I'm going to practice with you a very short meditation, and then I'll talk a bit more about some mindful practices. Today, in this meditative practice, we are going to use our breath as an anchor. Now, while sitting here, if you prefer, you can close your eyes. I prefer closing my eyes and cutting down the external stimuli this way, in a more focused way than open monitoring. We close our eyes, and then, while being here, being aware of the surrounding, the light and the smell, any sound here, every object and the person in this room. Focus on your breath. Remember, breath is going to be our anchor during this practice. Whenever the mind wanders, don't judge yourself. It's okay, everyone is in the same state. It's the monkey mind. Our thoughts come and go. Let them fly away. Mentally smile at the thoughts. Tell them that I am not you. You are not your thoughts. With this, sitting here, fully aware of yourself and your surrounding. Now do a quick scan of your body. Focus on the front of your body, top of your head, front of your face. Eyebrows, right eye, right cheek, right ear, right temple and the left temple. Your chin, front of your neck, back of your neck. Take your attention there. If the mind wanders, come back to breath and follow what I'm sharing with you. Release any feeling, any stress, tension you're there. Just experience the feeling. Any funny sensation, any crawling, any pain, anything. Don't judge. Remember, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Don't judge. When you become one with the Sakshi bhav, everything goes away. Then there is no hell or heaven. There is no sukha and dukkha. There is no grief and happiness. There is only one consciousness, one Brahma within us, inside, outside, and everywhere. Take a deep breath again. Release the part of the body which is scanned. And your right arm, starting from the right shoulder in the front and the back, and the left arm in the front and the back. Upper side of the chest, right side, left side, back, right side of the back, left side of the back, lower chest and the abdomen, and the lower back and the waist. Feel and release. Focus your attention there. If you lose your connection with yourself, come back to breath. Start listening to what I'm saying. Let the mind chatter fly away like a balloon. Loose, cut, loosen the string of this balloon and let it fly away. Whenever a thought comes to you, nip the thread of this thought and let it fly away like a balloon and smile at it. Say bye. Focus your attention on the bottom, on the right thigh, left thigh, front and the back, the right knee, left knee. Right leg and the left leg, right ankle, left ankle, the right heel, left heel, top of the right foot, top of the left foot, sole of the right foot and sole of the left foot. Release and relax. Now fully conscious of your body and the mind, letting go away the thoughts. Try to be congruent with yourself, inner self. When you lose connection, when the mind tries to fly away, let the thought go away and come back to the breath to reconnect with yourself and become congruent. Focus on the breath. Keep breathing. Do some abdominal breathing. Let's practice abdominal breathing. Focus on the navel and the movement of the abdomen. As you breathe naturally, nicely, and deeply, not forcefully, just deeply, the abdomen moves out, and as you exhale, the abdomen goes in like a toddler. Let's continue this belly breathing, focusing on the abdominal breathing for the next 10 breaths. Remember the mantra. Our connection to self is our breath. You don't need any rosary or a mala to practice. You cannot lose our breath while we are living. It's always with us. Use it as often as you want to. Do belly breathing and see the miracle of releasing all your pent up thoughts, feelings, emotion, anger, frustration, grief, sorrows, pain. Inhale peace, exhale love. Inhale peace and exhale love. While you are doing this, the oxygen, the breath is traveling to all the cells of the body. They are all getting rejuvenated and dancing with joy. All these cells have their own life, their DNAs, the memory of past lives, and all our karma. They are joyous as you inhale peace. They all become blissful. All the cells become blissful. And therefore all the organs, tissues, systems, and the whole body, mind, and soul becomes blissful, and you walk another step in that direction of being enlightened, aware, conscious, and being one with the Almighty. Give yourself the permission that everyone here who is breathing or not breathing, Jeev or Jeev, who is having any element, any presence in this universe, is one. We are all one, no judgment. Just observance, just Sakshi bhav inside and outside. The Brahm is everywhere. With this breathing, Take 2 more deep breaths, belly breathing, inhaling peace, exhaling love for everyone and for ourselves. And for everyone who is here with us in this session, and their loved ones, and everyone they know, and their friends and family and colleagues, and their loved ones, and everyone they know, and everyone on this planet, and every living being, and everything in the universe. Feel the connection while you breathe. And with this, now, if you want, you can open your eyes. Come back feeling blessed, feeling blissful, having experienced the beauty of being in the self, being with yourself, being in the being, coming back from human doing to again becoming human being. And remember, you can do this as many times you want to do. If you do it for 1 minute, that helps. If you do series of minutes, that helps. If you do multiple times of the day, it helps. It all adds up to your consciousness. Keep breathing gently. Bathe yourself in the golden divine light which is now surrounding you and bathing all your cells in the body, inside, outside, and encompassing, embracing the whole planet Earth, the Mother Earth, inside, outside, and the whole universe. Bathe in the grace and the glory of this universal light and the consciousness for a moment. Be in this blissful state. Remember, being mindful is our default state. Now when you come back and open your eyes, remember we can do this meditative practice anytime, all the time, every time, anywhere, everywhere, with anyone, everyone. Some more thoughts on the mindfulness practices. We just had a good glimpse and practice of meditation with some mindful practice. Now, if you ask me, but you cannot park your time or you cannot find a secluded place for something, believe me, the meditative mindfulness, which we can call a simple mindfulness, is always with you. That's our default setting. It's our monkey mind which creates a sense of illusion and takes us away from our own self. Give it a job. Tame this monkey mind. This job can be our breath or focusing your attention to the chore you're doing. If we are chopping vegetables, cutting fruits, do that with full attention. Look at the slicer, the chopper, the knife, what you're holding, the board, standing there in the kitchen, your feet on the ground, the ambience, the light, the smell of the vegetable and the herbs and the fruits. their colors, soak in with that. That is meditative mindfulness. And when you start turning the oven, the burner, the gas, the stove, your induction heater, and when you put your wok or the pot on it and pour the vegetables to make the curry, the spices, do it mindfully. Put all the bliss, all the love in it. And when you do this, you are meditating. And when you are doing this, you are expanding your consciousness to everything and everywhere, in every aspect of your life, in everything what you're doing. This is what we want to do. So in today's pragmatic world, real world, in this Kali Yuga, nothing is lost. We still can follow the principles of Ashtanga Yoga, the yam, the niyam, the asana, the pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and to achieve the state of samadhi, to live our purpose of life, the meaning and purpose of life. Cultivate the attitude of gratitude. Let's do some self studies, swadhyaya, some bhakti devotion to anything and everything, to the nature, to the guru, to the deity you pray for, wish for, to your parents and your kids. They have been your ancestors in some life. And do seva, because we are all one. The Almighty is inside everyone. When you do the volunteering, social service, work for a cause, pursue your hobby, you are taking your steps toward getting enlightened. Change your perception, change your attitude, develop the attitude of being one, having Brahm everywhere with the sense of observance, non-judgemental, being conscious of meditative mindfulness practice, being mindful in everything what we do. Even while driving, going down to your garage to take your car to parking lot, opening the door, putting the keys, feeling the driving wheel, the steering wheel, the seat, the road in front of you, being fully conscious aware of the sounds and the circumstances around you, expanding your consciousness, that's being mindful. While having your drink, after making your tea, coffee, or sipping it gradually, either alone or with yourself, while working on your desk at your home office or in the office at the workplace, while you're sitting and absorbing yourself in the tools you are using, very mindfully to cultivate the resources, to get your investment capital, to make the world a better place, and being thankful for the opportunity of having the breath always with you to do these practices. Every single moment, every act can be your mindful meditative practice. Some other things and which I practice often is also related to connecting with the nature, with the air, the water, the sun, the moon, fire, and the grass. How do you do that? You do that by doing some barefoot walking in a safe place, feeling the grass below your feet and the earth and the Mother Earth. And I do it close to a water body, near a fountain, and with the sunlight, or in the moon in the evening, feeling the fresh air, saying hello to the vegetation, to the trees and the birds and the bees around you. connecting to the universe, connecting back with them. That is mindfulness. If you want to say a mantra, any mantra, I love you is a mantra. I thank you is a mantra. I am blessed is a mantra. Gayatri mantra is a mantra. Om Namah Shivaya is a mantra. Guru Stuti is a mantra. The prayer we said is a mantra. Replace your mind chatter with any mantra and connect with this. This is mindfulness. That's meditation. So with this, having learned and experienced and practiced, learned, experienced and practiced, I urge you to give yourself permission to experience this beautiful experience over and again. And I promise you, it becomes so addictive that you will love to do it over and again, several times a day. Don't lose heart if minds wander. Don't be harsh to yourself. Don't say that, don't make it a chore to do like this. Flow with the flow. Just be gentle. It's okay if you cannot do it today, if you cannot do it now. Do it whenever you feel like, wherever you feel like, where you want it. You want to go to some place in the garden and do it, that's fine. You want to go to the botanical garden and do it. You want to go downstairs and do it. Do it anywhere, everywhere, wherever you want to do it. With this, and we are just nearing the end of our session. And before that, I would urge you to do a quick gratitude prayer with folded hands. Say a gratitude prayer in your mind for the 3 things in your life, any 3 things in your life. And gratitude prayer causes, same like meditation, it causes decrease in inflammatory markers, decreases blood pressure, decreases blood sugar, improves immunity, improves focus, attention, decreases pain, improves survival in cancer patients, improves rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, and similar disorders, improves cholesterol levels, improves blood sugars. And with this gratitude prayer, open the vault of your heart. Focus your attention to the center of your heart and open the vault of your heart and express unconditional love to everyone who is here with us today and everyone far and near, and our families and extended families and everyone far and near. With this, come back and we can open your eyes if you haven't done so. And I thank you very much for your very patient listening, participation, and I hand over it back to Santaji for questions. Thank you. Om.
Thank you so much for the excellent sharing and very insightful talk, Dr. Bajpai-ji. Actually, we have been receiving quite a lot of feedback, positive feedbacks, and thanks for the information and the practical tools that you have shared. There are some questions that have been asked.
Sure.
I will actually ask them now. I think you have covered, there are a couple of questions which wanted to learn, someone wanted to learn the correct simple steps for meditation, understanding the basics of meditation and mindfulness, and how do we start in a small and sustainable way. So these are some things that you have covered, but would you like to add a few more pointers as to how they could proceed with this meditation and mindfulness?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Santaji. Very pertinent question, and I would love to repeat it. So as I mentioned that we don't have to take it as a chore or to-do thing. Meditation and mindfulness is about doing nothing. It's just about doing everything, being fully present in here and now. So we don't need a lot of gadgets and paraphernalia to create an ambience and atmosphere for doing this. If you do that, if you like some flavor, fragrance, a dhoop or aromatherapy, that's okay, because it changes your mood and things. That's fine. If you don't have it, it doesn't take away anything from you. So the way to start practice is, try to think that, okay, I'm getting onto it now. I give myself the permission to start doing it. And when you start doing it, go slow. Try to sit calm and in a quiet place for some time. If you get distracted, don't be harsh to yourself. Let it go. Don't judge yourself. If you get a noise or you get irritated by the barking of your dog, or sorry, if someone in the family is trying to say something, or if someone is shouting, open the vault of your heart and bless them. Express loving kindness, and the moment you do that with a non-judgmental way, it takes away all the stress of the noise in the surrounding. You become Buddha for that moment, and you are meditating. So try to allocate few minutes every day. I would urge you to start with at least 20 minutes. If you can do 30 minutes, but if not, then try to do 10 minutes. Try to gradually increase it, because the more you do, the better you experience, and the sooner you experience the beauty of it. Second thing, as I said, is that you can do a right mix of being mindful in your daily chores, in activities, so that you don't have to park separate time. If you do a mix of that, and one day you will see yourself that you are in a 24/7 meditative state, mindful state, and that will be the state which you will never go back. You will never want to go back. You will only circulate it and distribute it to everyone. So start slow. Start parking 20 minutes any time of the day. I prefer if you start it in the morning, or even at the end of the day before going to bed. In the bedroom, on the bed is also fine, on the floor is fine as well. Just try to be calm, sit, relax, do a quick scanning, and accept everything inside and outside you. Let the thoughts go and focus on the breath. Just do this. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. Any irritant, anything coming up, do it with a Sakshi bhav. Any pain, any feeling, any emotion, just be an observer. Don't judge. And send your loving kindness. There's nothing like love. It's only unconditional love. When you say love, this is non-judgmental. Nothing in return, right? So the love in any relationship is not conditional. You love me, so I love you. No, love by default is unconditional. And every single, why I'm emphasizing this is that in the initial days we become sometimes too judgmental, and we find for a very serene place and all. Accept everyone and every place around you is good for meditation. Start slow, you'll yourself progress. Don't lose heart, just keep doing it, and we can reconnect. I'm here. We can cultivate, and we can develop a structured touch point, so that we can do it together always. Hope it helps.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it answers the person's question. Actually, one of the things that I enjoyed in one of the insights that you had given is that all our relations, friends and family are there to teach us. You know, that was one of the insights that I took back. So to be aware and to be mindful and to ensure that we sustain amidst all these challenges, including work challenges, how do we continue? Are there tips that we could do that we could sustain being mindful and being in the present moment? Are there something that you could share and advice? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Actually, my intention was also that while on this journey, we should accept that this is a journey. Remember, in mindfulness, we do not have a destination or a goal. It's a process. So we have to enjoy every moment. It is not like the KPIs of our office or objective setting quarter by quarter and then doing an annual review. No, no, no. It's our life. Life is a continuum. Accept that. So every single moment is an accomplishment. Number one. Two more tips. Whenever you are doing it and we get carried away in stressful situation or something, remember two things. First is that be non-judgmental, an observer, and be Sakshi. Cultivate, inculcate a habit and attitude that, okay, this situation, okay, what is this person or situation trying to teach me? Give yourself the permission to do this. Then you become non-judgmental. Second point is that when you look at a coin, what do you see? You see one side of the coin, but we are aware of the other side of the coin. So the wisdom is to be aware of the other side of the coin. So I would urge you to give yourself the permission to have the wisdom that there is an other side of the coin, which relates to my first point, that any situation, how painful, how miserable, how grieving, how stressful is it? It is, accept it as it is. Give yourself the permission that this is a situation. It has nothing to do with my being. So separate the situation. And the situation, when I say the separate the situation, it is the thought of the situation which gives us pain. Remember, I said, what did I say about pain and suffering? Pain is inevitable. What it means is that that situation, that happening, that action, that illusion is bound to happen at workplace or home place. But the suffering is optional. So it is the gap we create in our thoughts by not judging the situation and giving ourselves the permission that, okay, what is it is trying to teach me? I'm in my own self, taking few deep breaths, trying to look at the other side of the coin and praying to the Almighty to give you the wisdom to see the other side of the coin. Every time do this, and it will become a habit. This is how I did it. When we are endowed by intellect, by the measure tools of intelligence, and our mind is beautiful, I mean, we know that the capacity, we get carried away. It's very natural to judge every single moment, ourselves and others and situation, and come through this. The idea is to create a gap, create observance, take it as a teacher, let the thoughts go, and come back to the awareness and consciousness without judgment. And one of the best remedy is to send loving kindness in every such situation to everyone, to situation and any people causing it. That is what my own experiential learning.
Thank you, Dr. G. I have another question which says, in today's world, do people who meditate for, say, many years really get so-called enlightenment, or do time travel by subtle body?
A very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting question. Uh, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because when you look into the holy scriptures, and if you are blessed to have been in contact with some gurus, and if you have read some of the scriptures, and I don't know whether you got the chance to read the autobiography of a yogi and those kind of things, this is possible. This is even happening today in different dimensions. I believe that I'm a novice. I'm a novice. I'm at step one all the time. I'm a lifelong learner. But if we travel on this journey, as I said, we lose the dimensions of time and space. When we lose the dimensions of time and space, yes, we go there. Absolutely. It happens. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. There's one more question, which is our breath part of ourself or external? Very interesting questions.
Very interesting question. See, the question is not about being self or external. It is about just being Sakshi of everything we are endowed with and blessed with. I would look at it this way. The breath here is helping us to cultivate this Sakshi bhav and the awareness. So it doesn't matter whether it's a part of our body or mind or anything else. Because in the Ashtanga yoga, what you do, and especially the yogic practice, the asanas, what we do, the difference in our system of yoga and the practices, the way we do it is that we do it in harmony, sync, and in melody, if I can use that word, of breath. You know, we have different, you might be knowing different bandh and different kind of things, and we all know of this swar, and I have not got into the area of nadi and chakra and other things. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that we have a very integrative existence, which has components of mind, body, and soul, which are not different. The intention is that the body, when we get a physical body, we get lost into this separation. And the intention is to bring it back. And as a scientist, if I can tell you that we have anatomy and physiology, so there is a structure and there is a function, right? They are not separate. They work together. If we have a brain but there is no physiology, it doesn't work. If it is working but we don't have a body, it It doesn't work. It doesn't have a structure. So it's one. I don't see that as a separate one. I see it as one of the universal tool or blessing which we are endowed as human being to connect with the larger universe, right, and expand our own consciousness. A very good question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take one more last question. There's one question that says that what is self-awareness? How does it happen, and what are the benefits?
Thank you. So self-awareness is basically, I started with asking some questions, and I was also making a small joke. I talked about when I went to that US airport and the border control asked me, why are you here? Have we asked ourselves anytime, why are we here? Why am I here? Number one. I will give you an answer so that we can again reflect upon it. It's a longish one, but it will reinforce and reaffirm some of the learnings, what we said, and we will reach to the answer. So ask yourself, why are we here? What is the meaning and purpose of life? And how I can do that? So the meaning and the purpose of life simply is to attain self-awareness. How do we do that? We do that by giving away who we are not. We are not our body. We are not our mind. We are not our degree. We are not our title. We are not our relations. Okay, makes sense? So when we gradually follow the Ashtanga Yoga, we follow this path, we reach a stage where this sense of illusion goes away. The Maya goes away. The illusion of reality goes away. We lose this sense of externalness. We get into a massive enlightenment mode, which is like being one with the Almighty or the consciousness. That is known as the awakening. People like Ramakrishna Paramahansa. I mean, we have thousands of those Rishi Munis and saints and sages. So they were so enlightened. Do you know that he did a Shakti path to Vivekananda? He was already doing that kind of teletransmission of things and knowledge and wisdom, which Vivekananda was cascading. Vivekananda himself was endowed with telepathy. He tried sometimes with some of his disciples for not so right reason, and Paramahansa cut it off then. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it is a journey. When we say self-awareness, it's more about unbecoming of who we are not. So the way to reach there is to let go and get rid of who we are not, our identity of self, getting inside, realizing our true self. So when we gradually achieve this stage by the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, we become aware, oh, I am part of this one consciousness. That is self-awareness. But today, if we have learned that something like this exists, and there is a technology which does it, and there is spirituality, there is science, there is philosophy, everything around it, I hope we are already on the path of self-awareness. So for me, self-awareness is becoming who you are and letting go of who you are not. And that is already taking you into one consciousness.
Thank you, Dr. Bajpai. That was very good. I think we are coming to the end of the talk today. Thank you so much, Dr. Shailendra Bajpai. Can I just ask whether would you like to have any more words that you would like to summarize and tell the audience?
Sure. So first of all, I would like to say a big thanks and pay my gratitude to all the volunteers, the Hindu Center, Dr. Prasad, Santaji, Mr. Samar, Mr. Sadaji, who have been very actively working on setting up this very amazing festival of Hinduism. We call it Festival of Hinduism, but I will call it Festival of Humanity, because our Hinduism is basically it's the real dharma. It's not exactly a religion, the way we call it. So let's be happy and proud. But everyone else on this earth is, I would call him a Hindu. Everyone else who is a human is a Hindu that way. And we have a traditional system of having this very time-tested practices of doing these kind of activities, which can show us the path of enlightenment, which can light our path. And these are pretty simple. If you go back to the slide of the Ashtanga Yoga, you will see simple things, how we reach there. And while you reach there, we can further deep dive into each of these elements. But to start with, what you can also do is that two things. One is let go, practicing let go. Second is practicing gratitude, loving kindness. And that's a good beginning for meditation. You don't really have to, cultivate a lot of time in your calendars and do that. By the way, I was talking to one of my colleagues in US a couple of weeks back, and I was looking at his public calendar. And at 11 a.m. in the morning, he was in Seattle, I think, at that time. He has parked 15 minutes, 11 a.m. to 11:15, mindfulness break. And I love that. So when I started speaking to him, I said, oh, I love it. I love it. So people are already doing it. And this is no rocket science. This is very pragmatic. This is the essence of our existence. So we are here together to help each other walk home, as we say. So that is my last word, that we are here. We are not separate. There is no duality. We are all one. Aham bramhasmi. And eko aham dvitiyo nasti. Just to keep in the mind all the time. And these are very simple practices. Do a small beginning. And I wish you well to continue the journey. And I'm still here. We are all here to help each other. I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shailendra Bajpaji, for a wonderful talk and a very nice afternoon that we are concluding. Before I end the session, actually, I do have some slides to just run through. Just give me a few minutes. Okay. So what we have is that today, as I was mentioning, we are on the 9th day of our 10-day Singapore Festival of Hinduism. We have got a couple more of events that's happening this evening, and 4:30 and 7 p.m. In fact, 7 p.m. is the children's quiz that we're having it. At 4:30, we're actually having a talk on Hinduism, building a foundation for children. Tomorrow is our last day, and we have got two sessions that's going on. We have two sessions that's going on. That is actually going to be on at 2 p.m. at 4:30 on Hindu festivals. And we are concluding it with Ask Me Anything segment. And this is at 7 p.m. You could ask any questions on Hinduism that you are interested in. And there'll be a panel who will be more than willing to answer. Okay, and 8 p.m. we do our closing. Other than that, the next thing that I wanted to share is if you are interested in all the activities that Hindu Center conducts in terms of talks and events that's coming up, you could join us in a WhatsApp chat, which is actually just a broadcast only group where you could actually sign up, save the number that's shown there, and press as join and send to us, and we will put you into the group. And you will be just notified of all the events that's happening, and you could join us anytime that you would like to. Okay, and just to give a quick background as to Hindu Center. Hindu Center is the one that's organizing this Singapore Festival of Hinduism. We attempted to do this in a big scale, and we are located at 132 Owen Road. We are a charity, and we have been set up for more than 40 years, and we conduct a range of talks, educational classes, children's programs, bhajans, chants, even religious counseling at the prisons and elderly homes. Okay, so many a time we are all volunteers. So many a time we actually engage the public with several talks, and we would like your participation and encouragement. So if you do like what we do, we would like you to volunteer your time and expertise if you can, and at the same time donate generously. All the details are actually available in our Hindu website, which is www.hinducenter.org.sg. You could find the details and show us your interest as to how you could help us. Okay, with that, actually, I would like to end the session. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will do the closing prayers.
सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Okay, I think the live session